Hey everybody, it's Ia Patsy, and I'm here to do a reading from the book of Love Signs by Linda Goodman. Linda Goodman's Love Signs, and so this is not exactly a tarot reading at all, but this is just some information that I wanted to share with you. She goes through the different astrological signs, and she talks about the characteristics of the man versus the woman in each of the configurations. So there's 913 pages, so I'm not doing all of those. But if someone asks me to do it, then I'm going to do it. And today I was asked to do Libra woman and a Scorpio man. So, as bright, intelligent, and logical as she may be, the Libra woman can spend a lifetime unsuccessfully trying to read the innermost feelings of her Scorpio man from his bland features. She'll never penetrate all the secrets behind his impassive mask. He's a walking enigma that will forever resist a final solution. So he's a puzzle. If he loves her, he'll share more of himself with her than he ever will with anyone else. But this doesn't mean he'll either invite or permit her to wander around in the more private recesses of his heart or his soul. Those secret compartments are reserved for himself and his maker, his God. If he should happen to tell her this, her fine Libra mind will probably find it a good excuse to initiate an argument, a discussion on the subject, what do you mean you're God? Aren't you aware that we have co-creators and that there is a Mr. and Mrs. God? That even our Maker has a female counterpart, and as does everything in the entire universe. Libra girls are always a trifle women's liberish, even when they disguise it with their perfumed femininity and spiritual conjecture. Ride on, Libra, and bless your Venus wisdom. Ride on. Buried just beneath the surface, cool in the most, and even the most, buried just beneath the surface, cool is even the most evolved of Scorpio men, is the revenge syndrome. The retaliatory surprises of a wounded or angered scorpion can seriously shake her Librium equilibrium, her Libra equilibrium. So he gets back. He's petty. The man is deeply sensitive behind his image of self-efficiency and confidence. Now, a word of warning to him. Despite her soothing voice, her beautiful features, and her sparkling toothpaste smile, Libra is a masculine sun sign, also a cardinal sun sign of leadership. A smart Scorpion man knows the Webster definition of both masculine and cardinal. So he should comprehend that this girl, with all her womanly ways, will not become a contented concubine, not even for him. She can, at first, be undeniably convincing in her poise of soft feminine submission, especially if she really loves him. But behind her cheerful countenance and the saintly and the saintly facade, she's miserable unless she's made responsible in some way regarding matters of importance. Brooms, mops, dishwashers, and diapers do not fall into that category. I mean, they're important, but they're not challenging mentally or stimulating. And if she isn't mentally stimulated, she becomes a very sad lady. Of course, admittedly, there's nothing more stimulating than trying to capture the love of an eagle. She refers to Scorpio men as eagles. But once she's won that round, she'll become restless. She's a regular female Ulysses, this girl, with an additional problem Ulysses didn't have when he sailed the seven seas. She needs companionship. She withers when left alone. Libra rules marriage and partnerships. Just imagine what it's like to so need the comfort of a cozy marriage, yet to be constantly longing to dash out and conquer the world at the same time. Do you see why her scales keep dipping in indecision and frustration? Because Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th astrological house of other people's money, among other things. And in addition, it represents the 2nd house of money and material possessions. To Libra, these matters will assume more importance with this couple than most. The income of either or both will be the subject of much emphasis in their relationship. Whether this financial emphasis is positive or negative will depend on the sun-moon aspect that they share and other mutual planetary influences. But as always, their own efforts to harmonize in these areas of life together. But there can be certain that money will rear a little or large green head as an urgent problem for decision and discussion, and not infrequently. Separate checking accounts. I strongly advise separate checking accounts. Actually, that's good counsel for every couple of any sun sign composition, but especially for this one. A Libra woman will not be happy asking her man for a few dollars when she wants to subscribe to Ms. Magazine or to go shopping. Even Pisces girls don't do that anymore, and Libra women were liberated long before they or you or I ever heard of ERA when they were born. So Libra women came into this world liberated. They're Libra. If she wants to go to work, he should be enthusiastic. He may as well, because she'll do it anyway. Scorpio can be intimidating, but a Libra woman is not easily intimidated. She'll seesaw back and forth for a while, pretending that her indecision trauma is caused by a concern that her taking a job might upset him or their home life. She's putting them on, using these anxieties as excuses to cover her necessary but frustrating period of scale balancing. In the end, she'll do exactly what she wishes to do, whatever it might be. It's hard to guess. But when she does finally decide, she'll be quite firm about it. You can be sure of that. If it's touchingly happy for Libra must lead in some manner, she'll be touchingly happy because she has to lead in some manner. And to her, anything artistic or beautiful isn't work, it's play. The happiest careers are always those in which we would become involved by choice, even if we weren't paid. To work with love is a holy thing. In astrology, Libra is closely associated with the law, among other matters. So he shouldn't be surprised if she often sounds like a lawyer when they are discussing some point of disagreement. Even if he's an attorney himself, she'll rock and sock him now and then with her Libra logic. He may think he's fallen in love with not a woman, but his old college law professor, and have to look closely to be certain. Those starry eyes and chiseled features and that voluptuous Venus figure should quickly reassure him. Yes, she is a female. Yes, still, her masculine mental processes will give him a start every now and then. She'll take turns being sweetly bossy and then docile, which will confuse him, and very few things confuse Scorpio. It can throw him into a period of inexplicable depression during which he'll ask himself, who is really in control of this relationship? It is a valid question. On the other hand, his habit of silently appraising her virtues when she needs to hear them praised aloud, of being critical in a detached and unemotional way, can trouble her more than he can guess. The Libra woman will have to call on all of her considerable reserves of charm and tact to learn to be tolerant of this man's dark moods, his long silences. He hasn't left her. He's only swimming out a little further away from the shore than usual, into the deeper waters of meditation upon life's mysteries, and he doesn't need a bodyguard to do that sort of thing. He prefers to make such nocturnal excursions alone, chattering or insistent questions like, what are you thinking about? Or, why are you so quiet, sweetheart? Will be answered with a cold stare and more silence. Even the talkier Scorpions, with several planets in Gemini, Aries, or Leo, will still have meditative moments. So Scorpio men like to just sit and meditate, pray, and just have time to themselves, right? They like to have man caves. In the beginning, it will cause no small amount of tension between them when he sometimes communicates best with a glance or perhaps a touch, while she communicates best the way all humans were made to communicate, verbally, with sounds. They're called words. A Scorpion, however gregarious he may be regarding other areas of his life, will never find it easy to be excessively verbal when expressing his emotional or sexual or romantic feelings. If there's a harmonizing sun-moon aspect between their birth charts, she'll understand this and begin to measure her words and communicate more often with her dazzling Libra smile and an eloquent silence. Should they, however, share a square or opposed sun or moon aspect, the procrastinations for permanence are not good. The prognostications. Okay, so it doesn't look good for these two people if they have a square or opposed sun-moon aspect. So you need to know your chart. You can always go on to just put in free birth charts, and you get to lots of these companies that you can get. I'll put a link for one in the comments, in the description box and in the comments on this video. And that'll help you zoom in on your person's moon sign and your moon sign, as well as their rising sign. And your moon sign is your emotions. So if you find out your moon and their moon, then you may get a more clearer picture of how you're really feeling about one another. And like I said, just leave a suggestion in the comments and I'll get around to it. So, should they, however, share a square or opposed sun-moon aspect, the procrastinations for permanence are not good. If he's one of those Scorps with a weakness for drugs or alcohol and she's one of those eternal party girls, Librans, there will be trouble. Libra creates the social atmosphere to tempt Scorpio's latent weaknesses. Her fondness for fun and people and entertaining can be a sticky net for the Scorpion, who's easily lured into losing himself through various escapes, from drinking or the temporary high or low of grass, marijuana, weed, to ever more dangerous artificial stimulation. Life is always ready to seduce the Pluto ruled into the dark waters, and a dimpled, charming Libra girl can be pretty seductive. However, an evolved Scorpio male of tenacity and purpose, and there are plenty of them, can resist such siren songs, and the enlightened, mentally stable, emotionally balanced Libra woman, the kind who far outnumber the Libra party girls, have a solid chance to form a strong association when they fall in love with their heads and their hearts in equal measure. He may sometimes suspect that she's not completely leveling with him, not saying what she really feels, never mind how many words she uses. Are they reflecting her true feelings? He wonders, because he's suspicious by nature. It's a dual problem because she'll be troubled for his subtle manner of avoiding an immediate answer to her question. What lies beneath those impassive features? She wonders, for she is curious by nature. There are moments when he'll appear to be more stubborn than he really is, when he insists on a course of action without explaining to her logically why he's so set on it, believing she should just trust him to have the wisdom to know what he's doing, and he usually does. It's safer for their marriage if she trusts him than if she doubts him. Yes, I said marriage. None of these loose Aquarian age live-in plans for the Libra female. She may go along with the live-in arrangement for a while, but eventually she will marry, or she'll leave. Marry her, or you'll lose her. To another man, perhaps, or she'll find some sensational career to wed. Just so she's not alone, and she knows where she's going. Libra women play all games for keeps. Many Libra females retain their own names when they marry. It's kind of their thing. If a Scorpio man permits this, you can safely wager every penny in your piggy bank that he's one of the very rare evolved eagles, and fatten your pig by winning. So if he permits it, then that means that he is a very evolved eagle. She may hesitate before deciding, though, what will happen when the children are born. On the other hand, will she miss the warm intimacy of bearing his name while she's keeping intact her independence as an individual? There are always two sides of it, so you see, that's Libra. She's looking at both sides of the problem. After a few hours or days or weeks of her weighing the balance, even stubborn Taurian men might give in and say, do it, do it. So will the Scorpion man. He'll likewise become weary of her weighing and shout, though he very rarely shouts, just do it, for Christ's sake. Just do it. Like I said when I first suggested, I think it's a sound idea. Even if he secretly hates it, he's just going to tell her it's a sound idea just so she can make up her mind and just go ahead on and do it. The funny thing is that the idea itself will probably have originally been hers, not his. She'll sweetly plant it in her lover's mind so subtly and gently that he'll forget where it came from and be innocently convinced that it was his suggestion in the first place. That's what astrology means by the female Libra's iron fist in a velvet glove. When it punches out the perception of a Scorpio, you can be certain it's a mighty powerful, however velvety, fist. A mighty powerful, velvety fist. These two aren't as emotionally passionate as they are mentally in tune. Sexually, they can anticipate each other's wishes, which is good, but they aren't always aware of how to actually satisfy those wishes, which is bad. So they know what the other person wants, but they're not sure how to go about it. Okay? The eagle should study the verse in Ecclesiastes, that's in the Bible, which states that there is a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. One of the latter times is when she's struggling through the throes of some important decision. He may try to relax her or help her unwind with intense lovemaking, then be deeply wounded to discover that his endeavors have only tied her more into pretzels and made her more restless and more nervous, when the act of love should result in peace and contentment. She can be an ideal partner for him when her scales are balanced, and at these times, their physical oneness can bring them so spiritually close to each other that tears could fill their eyes at the wonder of love's power to transport the soul into beauty through becoming one flesh. But when this woman's scales are tipping, she'll be as pleasant to make love to as Lady Macbeth. Okay, I'm hearing she's a man-eater. All right. The Scorpio man will probably satisfy every sensual and erotic longing, every secret need for affection and fierce devotion the Libra girl has ever dreamed about romantically, except one. He'll definitely will not recite poetry to her in the middle of their mating, nor will he make whispered declarations of his devotion aloud to her during their intimate moments. She'll remind him, perhaps, even coach him. He'll try to comply, but since this sort of thing lacks spontaneity, she'll begin to think he really doesn't love her. He does, but this man is uneasy with open displays of sentiment and romance. He thinks he proves his love to his woman by both his loyalty and his sexual intensity. Why would she need words to hear him repeat, "I love you" constantly? I don't know why, but she does need it. A compromise may be necessary. She should try to be more gentle, less demanding of him, and he should realize that this woman doesn't take a crystal ball to bed with her. So how's she supposed to know his feelings are as deep and as sure as when they first wept together over love's joy? Unless he tells her so. Using Libra logic, I'll remind the eagle that a small amount of spoken endearments will prevent a large amount of unreasonable jealousy. Let's say it for the ones in the back. A small amount of spoken endearments will prevent a large amount of unreasonable jealousy. Whether his features are plain or handsome, the magnetic force field of Pluto pulses in his aura, and his undeniable magnetism with women can make this lady very jealous. Could Juliet have doubted Romeo with such constant declaration of his love? Nor did she. Nor will his Libra woman if she receives her Juliet birthright from him. So she has to be constantly reassured that you love her, that you think she's beautiful. Wish them luck in their efforts to blend their wishes and their vibes. It might be a blessing to us that they fall in love. It might be a blessing to us all that they do fall in love. She can provide an idealistic outlet for his controlled but driving ambition, helping him guide into channels that would bring justice to the planet's abused and weary souls. His deeper wisdom will check her airy indecisions, gently molding them into a sensible approach to her day and to her daydreams. Her logical mind will help him straighten out the complicated tangles of career and family or personal involvements, which are sooner or later faced, to some degree, by every water sign, even the invincible Scorpio. The combining of the eagle's bottomless confidence with this Libra woman's great sense of fairness can be a beneficial thing for everyone within their sphere of influence. Their personal love has an excellent chance to expand outside of themselves into a tremendous energy for all mankind and womankind. If the two of them should silently meditate together within the pyramid or whisper magic mantras in the ancient Incan temple, what wonders might occur? Our co-creators would both approve. Ashe, that sounds pretty magical. Libra woman and Scorpio man. It's interesting. I had a friend that said he was a Scorpio. He said he would never want to be with a Libra woman again. But for some people it works, and maybe for him it didn't, for the very reasons that she was speaking about in the book. So anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with me and allowing me to bring you this message. And don't forget to share with your friends, share with your partner. I have some girls that said that they've shared it with their partner, and the partner was like, wow, they agreed that, that kind of described their relationship. So share it with your partner. Let's see if we can get to a better love, right? Okay, I'll be talking to everybody real soon. I love you guys. Peace.